What's up, everybody? Good morning, and welcome to Spulture in the morning. This is not breakfast at Wimbledon, but it is a little bit like 5:20 in the morning. We're just gonna go through today. We're gonna look at some of the results from yesterday, check out some matches that are gonna happen tonight, who we think's gonna win, why we're excited for those matchups, and also just looking back at some of the matches that happened last night that we predicted. Some won, some lost, of course, um, and just kind of what happened in those matches. Um, so we're just going to look through these scores. One good thing about the Australian Open compared to the other Grand Slams is that with their scoring on their website, you can look at point by point scoring. So usually you just have to do that on SofaScore, but on the Australian Open website, they have that also. And what's great about theirs is that it shows how each point was won. So if it's like, for instance, on SofaScore, it'll show someone had a break point at 3-4, but they're not going to show what happened. On the Australian Open site, on their live scoring, it'll show you 30-40 ace wide, 30-40 second serve in the net. It just gives you more of a understanding of what happened in the match. And you can kind of go back to like some big points and figure out what happened there, and yeah, just kind of what happened. So anyways, we're gonna just get started. Off the top of my head, one match that I know that we talked about yesterday was Sloane Stephens versus Olivia Gadecki. Sloane Stephens, the American, the former Grand Slam champion, back playing qualifying, had a rough start to this match. She started off, lost the first set 1-6 or 2-6. Still getting yesterday's scores pulled up, but she lost the first set rather easily, and then came back and won pretty easily. Her game is just playing heavier. She played real spinny. She made Gadecki step in and go for it. This was a huge match for Gadecki, being Australian, trying to qualify for her home slam. So Sloane did a really good job of kind of playing to Gadecki's weaknesses and making her beat Sloane at a top level, which is going to be tough to perform in a match that was that important to her. Of course, it's important to everyone. They're trying to qualify for a Grand Slam. They're trying to make a guarantee $100,000. But when it's your home slam, that means even more. And Sloane had a little bit of that going against her yesterday for Gadecki, but Gadecki wasn't able to keep her top level up. Yeah, that was crazy. Wasn't able to keep her level up for the whole match, which Sloane was able to capitalize. Again, Sloane hitting heavy balls, spinny, playing very consistent. Final score was 3-6, 6-3, 6-3 for Sloane. Sloane will now take on, she's got a tough match tonight to qualify. This would be huge for her. She dropped down to ranking 1,097. She's got to be the best player to ever be ranked 1,097. That's unbelievable. She plays Lucia Bronzetti from Italy tonight. Again, Sloane's got to be liking her chances there. Sloane, who's done very well historically, should not even be in qualifying. She is, because I believe injuries, but her ranking's at 1,097, so clearly she should be in qualifying. But tonight she's got to be liking her chances again to get into main draw. So again, Sloane versus Bronzetti tonight, first match on. I would be expecting a battle there, but Sloane, I think, again in 3. Another women's match that happened yesterday was Whitney Oswego, and Whitney Oswego has been absolutely balling. Great to see. She was a girl who had a lot of success very early on, and is still only 23 years old. Unbelievable, still very young. So has a big future in front of her, but she was someone that kind of didn't do as well as she had in the juniors, her first couple years playing full on tour. And so it's great to see her in the final round of qualifying. She plays Bartankova tonight after taking out another Italian yesterday, Stefanini. If you look through these draws, a lot of people are going to be Italian. A lot of people are going to be American. Italy is just killing tennis right now, but apparently it's America killing Italian tennis and the women right now with Oswego and hopefully Sloane tonight. But moving on here, I'd say the biggest bummer of the day yesterday was Bernardo Tomic losing to Arthur Ferry, went down 4-2. Went down an early break in this one, was never really able to get his feet into the match. Ferry just didn't really give him much. It was super hot out there, so I don't know how much that had to impact with Bernie battling out there in that heat. Ferry, he's a smaller guy. He didn't really miss much. Made Bernie move, played pretty like on the rise, not necessarily aggressive tennis, but was taking a lot on the rise and taking time away from Bernie. Bernie never really quite was able to get into it. He had a couple break points late in the second to try and get back into it, but just never was quite able to find the form that he would have liked to find. That's a bummer. He's publicly spoken that he wants to get back into the top 100 and then he'll just retire. I know he wanted to play an Australian Open main draw. This isn't the end for him. He'll have another chance, a couple more chances, hopefully, but this is one that we were really hoping to see. Honestly, we thought he would win this one, and just we were hoping that the burn would make his mark down under this year. But still a good tournament for him. First time winning one round and qualifying there, I think, since 2021. So step in the right direction. Step in the right direction. I've said so many times, but that's all right. Another match that we talked about was young American only forehands, Murphy Cassone. Murphy Cassone played Dusan Lajovic yesterday as we spoke. Brandon Holt defeated Dusan Lajovic at the Cincinnati Open 2024. Shout out Charlie Coleman. He was at that match. Anyways, Murphy lost 5-3 to Lajovic. Murphy was up an early break 3-2. Lajovic got it back. I actually woke up to a notification saying 6-3. I assumed Murphy won this in straight sets. I didn't realize he got broken back in the first. But for Murph, man, I mean, as his Instagram page says, he's only forehand, so I guess his forehand let him down a little bit there. I don't know. He was winning when I went to sleep, so either I went to sleep and let him down, or his only forehand let him down. But it's a tough one. Another match that we spoke about yesterday, Yoshihito Nishioka played George Lofhagen. Respect to George Lofhagen. I was pretty disrespectful to him yesterday. I said the only reason I'm talking about this match was to add Nishioka to a parlay, but it turns out if Nishioka didn't default in the second set, he would have busted all your parlays because Lofhagen came out and won 6-3, 3-1. Credit to Lofhagen. That's a great scoreline. I know Nishioka clearly couldn't finish, must have been hurt, but 6-3, 3-1 against a guy the caliber of Nishioka. I mean, he's typically a top 100 player, only in qualies because of an injury. I don't know if he re-injured himself last night in this match or if he came into the match with an injury, but either way, he was unable to finish, but definitely saved some parlays and some bets last night. At the same time as that match was going on, and at the same time as Nishesh Basavaredi was playing yesterday, there was another heater of a match that went 2 hours and 27 minutes being played. Brandon Holt versus Julio Zeppieri. Brandon Holt, unfortunately, goes down 6-4 in the third in this match. He won the first set 7-6. They both had chances. Yesterday, I said that the courts looked to be playing slow when I watched Cruz Hewitt play Michael Zhang. When I watched this match, I don't think that seemed to be the case. Like I said yesterday, I'd love to talk to someone who's playing down there to see how the courts are actually playing. But yesterday, I definitely doubted myself and thought, all right, these look more typical Australian Open speed of courts. But yeah, I mean, like I said, B Holt won the first set 7-6 in a breaker, and then he went down 5-4. I believe oh, here we go. Oh, I got the match beats back on. This is sick. It shows how long every game was and everything. I mean, you guys got to check this out. Go to AustralianOpen.com, click on the match, and it gives you the most breakdown stats of all time. It's so sick. Still like trying to figure out how to use it, to be honest, but it says like right here, Zeppieri wins the point with a backhand winner. Zeppieri wins the point with a backhand winner. I mean, dude, this guy must have a ridiculous backhand winner. Again, Zeppieri wins the point with a backhand winner. I mean, how many winners was he hitting? Forehand winner, backhand winner, forehand winner, forehand winner, backhand winner, forehand winner. I mean, dear Lord, double fault. So it looks like almost every point was being won or lost on Zeppieri's racket. Forehand winner, forehand unforced error. B-Hole wins the point with a backhand winner. Let's go, boy. Got two backhand winners in that game in game 8 of the second set. But anyways, yeah, Zeppieri was able to was able to break late in the second set at 5-all. He got the break to go up 6-5, and then in the third set, Zeppieri was just again late in the set 3, game 8, he got the break to go up 5-3. Just blabbering. I know it. But this was a match I was super excited for. This was a match that lived up to the hype. B Holt loves this time of year. He loves the whole Asian Pacific swing. I know it's Australia, it's not Asia, but it's on that side of the world, kind of closer at least. Excuse me. Yeah, it's closer at least, and Zeppieri, who's also a really good player. We knew this would be a good match. If B Holt could come through this, I think he would have came through again tomorrow. It's a bummer for him, man. Feeling for, I'm happy for Nishesh, most unbelievable comeback of all time, but we had to lose 2 soldiers in B Holt, and we lost B Holt, we lost Murph, and we lost Tomic yesterday. Our boys are falling. That's all right though. Wow, I would have loved to see this. We got Liam Draxel winning 10-7 in the third against Vitaly Sacco. You know that he was just going nuts. You know he was going berserk. You know he was probably running suicides, doing push-ups. He's all over the place. Who knows what he was doing? But that would have been a match to see. It didn't start until it was a not before 2:25 a.m. Eastern time. I'm surprised it wasn't still going when I woke up, honestly. Yeah, I mean that's what you live for though about the Australian Open, is that the matches sometimes are still up when you are still on when you wake up. I remember one time in elementary school, Nolan Listman, shout out to you. I think it was when Verdasco was playing Rafa, but we were trying to find any excuse possible to leave that classroom early to run to the library, and we weren't looking up books. We were looking up the Australian Open score. We were getting on there trying to figure out the 5th set score. But that would happen all the time. You'd wake up in the middle of the night to an absolute heater, or you'd wake up in the morning and the match you fell asleep to was still going on. Little Baghdadis, little Hewitt, little Nalbandian. Those are the guys that you remember playing. Martin Dam keeps rolling through the draw, 4-3 against Tituan Drogo. If the courts are playing fast with his serve, it's lights out. Good night. See you tomorrow. Taylor Townsend, as expected, just rolled. I don't know who she plays tonight, but go ahead. It's a safe bet. Take her. Some of these people just, shouldn't be in qualifying, and that's the thing. I mean, they're really good players. Maybe their ranking dropped for a reason or two, but you just know that they are actually main draw players and have been historically their whole career, like a Sloane Stephens or a Taylor Townsend, who's a #1 in the world junior, who's #1 in the world doubles player. I mean, who has good singles results. Like, how is she even in qualies? Tristan Boyer, congrats, brother. Congrats. I did not have much hope for you, honestly. I think I said would fade that, and you won 6-2 in the third. So, as people are going to find out on this podcast, I am wrong most of the time, but I try to be right. So, Tristan Boyer, I was wrong about you. Congratulations. Zach Svida, 1-4 against Rodionov. I already know how that match probably went. Svida was taking the ball early. He probably did not have many unforced errors. Again, I bet the match was mainly on Rodionov's rackets in terms of stats. I bet he was lighting up the stat sheet. Let's see. Come on. Yeah, I mean, right here, this is the difference in the match. And this happens in the junior level, but this happens at all levels. Like the pushing never goes out of style, and I'm not calling Zach Svida a pusher, but that's what they call people that don't miss in juniors, right? And the people that don't miss in juniors win. The people that don't miss in pros also win. This guy Zach Svida, 6 unforced errors the whole entire match, 6, not one on the return. Rodionov had 23 unforced errors versus 6. He had 4 times as many. You're not going to win matches that way. Make the ball. As Dave Heffern told me once, whoever makes the ball inside of the lines and over the net more than their opponent will win the match. And that advice is absolutely undefeated. But on those fast courts, I bet Zvida's taking the ball early, redirecting it, making Rodionov run. The Austrian. Colton Smith goes down. Last match we're going to talk about from yesterday. I know this is getting boring again, so we're gonna have to find a way to spice this up in the second half of this. But Colton Smith goes down to Ray Sakamoto. Huge serve, but not necessarily the big power. It just bounces so high. Colton Smith was having to take balls from above his head. Again, as we talked about yesterday, I'm not loving Colton Smith's strategy going into this year of being a bit more of a grinder. I think that's like trying to be a bit more like Tommy Paul, not going to lie, where they do have similarities, but they have major differences, and he's got to be his own player and work to his own strengths. I mean, you have a nuke of a forehand, dude. It's so heavy. It's something that most guys wish they had. And I feel like he's not really taking advantage of using it. And if I was him, I would be playing like a Steve Johnson. I'm getting around every backhand possible, or a Jack Sock, every backhand possible. I'm getting around, and I'm just ripping heavy forehands, and not like stupidly, because he is athletic. He can use his wheels, but I am ripping my forehand heavy over and over and over. Shout out to the Python. So, we're gonna have to do something fun here for this next session. All right, this next session means the match is tonight. Okay, and there's not nearly as many matches. There's only about, there's probably about 24 matches. We're down to the final round of qualifying. If you win, you're playing in the main draw starting on Sunday night. If you lose, you are hoping for a lucky loser. You're staying around. You're still practicing, hoping someone's going to pull out of the main draw and you're going to be able to take their spot. But nothing's guaranteed. There's probably a large money differential. And when I say large, I mean probably like a $50,000 difference, somewhere around there, at least 40. And it's a huge day for these people. Let's go story time with Steven real quick. I mean, I got some experience being around a Grand Slam qualifying. I got to be there with Amina Bektis when she qualified for Wimbledon. So I was there day in and day out. And the most nervous I've ever been for a tennis match was her final round of qualifying, playing Fiona Ferro. Real windy day on the grass. But I mean, just knowing the difference of if you qualify, you're in Wimbledon, and if you lose that match, it's a pretty bad. It's not a bad week. I mean, it's a bad week for me because we didn't qualify for Wimbledon. For her, she got to the final round of Wimbledon. That's a great week, right? Final round of qualifying for Wimbledon. But she won the match, qualified. But I'm just saying, it's the most nerves I've ever experienced being around a tennis court. So I know how these people are feeling tonight. This is not really tennis. This is more just like take the racket. I remember Benoit Paire on his podcast saying like, take the racket, check the fact sheet. But just take the racket from me pretty much, because he has no control over it. He's just shaking. I think he was talking about playing Nishikori at Roland Garros when he was telling that story. But that's how it is for these guys playing, these guys and girls playing. I'm going to make this fast, all right? I'm going to make this fast. I'm just going to go through every single match here that I think someone's going to win, and I'm going to tell you who's going to win, and we're going to see what I end up going for tomorrow. So I'm going to give you I'll give you a background, but let's make this quick here. All right, Travaglia versus Sweeney. I would go max units on Dane Sweeney. Bronzetti versus Sloan, I would stay a little bit away from, but I would go light on Sloan. I expect her to win. I think her heavy balls. I think she looked to be in good conditioning. She had Kamal Murray back in the box. I think she scratches this out. Um, Townsend versus Hunter, two absolute dogs of doubles players, but Townsend's pulling this one out. Add that one to the list. Scratch it in. Just cement that one in. Boyer versus Wu, we're staying away. Respect to Boyer after yesterday. Zvida versus Kopayans. Zvida money line to the ceiling, roof, max. I expect Zvida to win. The American's going to beat the Belgium there. Rafa Hodar took down Chris Rodesh in the Battle of Virginia. I saw the first set was like 10-8 in the breaker, I think it was. Absolute heater. He plays Luca Van Ash tonight, Battle of recent next-gen players. Off of that one, just wanted to ramble a little bit more for you guys because I know you love hearing it. Oswego versus Bartakova. Given Oswego's recent form, her historical junior success, I would be looking at Whitney money line here. I don't have these numbers in front of me. Hopefully they're not terrible lines for you. But if they are, just parlay them. It's no big deal. George Lofhagen versus Nishesh Basavareddy. Love you, Nishesh. No pressure, but to the roof. Nishesh money line. So just looking at that, we got Nishesh. We got Osigwe. We got Zvida. And we have Sloan, we have Townsend, we have Sweeney. So I got about 7 picks for you guys. If you want more, we can keep them going. I'd go Martin Dam Jr. against Gilles Arnaud Bailly. Gilles Arnaud Bailly, unreal returner, small guy, counter puncher kind of. Takes the ball early, takes your pace, but I think Dam's just going to serve him off the court. Bailly battled 3 sets, a long 3-setter with Carballes Baena yesterday. More of a grinding battle. Dam won in straights. I would take Marty Dam in that one. This round of qualifying, the third round of qualifying, used to be best of 5. I liked that. I preferred it. It was a little more realistic going into the tournament. They still have like Wednesday night. Tonight will be Thursday in Australia. They still have Friday, Saturday, Sunday to recover. That's 3 days. I mean, I get maybe if they go 5 sets, could be grueling. You don't want these guys tired going in to start the tournament. They need their rest. But I liked the fact of final round of qualifying is 5 sets. You leave it all on the line. It's, that's the best thing about 5 sets. It's like a gladiator fight. There's just no one out there besides for you for hours and hours and hours. And that's what makes our sports so great. I just think we need more of it. I'd go back to Masters finals 5 sets. I'd go back to final round of qualifying 5 sets. I'd go back to Davis Cup 5 sets. I knew there was another I'd go back to Davis Cup 5 sets. Who's Lee? Anybody know Lee for America? Carol Young Soo Lee. Who is she? Never heard of her. She a young girl? She plays Fruvertova tonight. Fruvertova was a crazy good, like 14-year-old expected to become like Muratoglu's next big thing. I'm pulling up a little highlight here real quick of Carol Young-Hoo Lee. Just to see, because I just want to see who she is. Come on, quit giving me ads, ESPN. Here she is. She missed everything. I'm just playing. But I don't know. I don't know who this Lee girl is. I think Fruvertova is a safe bet there. Add her to our money line. I think we were adding Martin Dam to the money line. We got Sween Dog on the money line. I think we got some good people on the money line. I'm taking Raducanu like as large as possible on the money line tonight. And Hobart, taking Tommy Paul as large as possible tonight on the money line. I'm taking Dino Prize Mitch on the money line. We're gonna remember all these and come back to them. I'm telling you, it's gonna be like 12-0 tomorrow. Don't sleep, people. Don't sleep. Nah, I'm just playing. Remember what I said? I'm wrong most of the time. If I said 12-0, it really will mean like 2-10. We're going on quite a while here of this podcast. I got to make sure I get something else in other than tennis, though. Yesterday, watched IU play Michigan State. As always, IU, not as always, but as they've shown this year, IU is a streaky basketball team. When they're shooting well, they can beat anyone. When Wilkerson's hitting threes, they can beat anyone. DeVries, however, and I'm saying Pops and Son have just been a little bit disappointing to me. You fire Mike Woodson, who wasn't doing unbelievable, was playing kind of an archaic system, people want to say and stuff, but he was at least a name. Like, he was going to recruit really good players. I mean, he coached at the Knicks, he coached the Hawks, he played for IU, won national championship. He played in the NBA. Like, he's going to bring in good players. We fired him. We brought in Darian DeVries. My opinion, it hasn't worked. We got destroyed by Louisville. We blew a huge second half lead at home to Nebraska, which should never happen. His son, Tucker DeVries, is one of the more unathletic guys you'll see in NCAA. He can shoot. He's a little bit like a real poor man's Luka, which is not bad. But overall, it's just, I think the success of Signetti and the football team have shown how it's possible to be unbelievably good in Bloomington. Good thing they play tennis in a glorified barn because they're going to be real good. But yeah, the basketball team, it's a little disappointing. So hopefully Tucker can figure it out. I mean, he's only got one more year and then he's gone. We'll see what Darian can do without his son. But I'm already looking ahead to the next coaching cycle. What big names are there going to be and who can IU bring in that's actually going to change this and make a difference? Signetti wasn't a big name, but he holds his players accountable. They're not getting 10-second violations walking up the court. They're not turning the ball over 4 times in a row. I mean, Signetti would be breaking clipboards if that type of stuff happened, if they're just hurting themselves. So that's the type of stuff that's happening in IU basketball right now. It's disappointing. They lost to Michigan State again yesterday. But on the good side of things, on the good side of things, positive note, LeBron James turned the clock back yesterday, 30, 10, and 9. Like, come on. At 44 years old, bro, you're supposed to be getting those numbers in a video game right now. You're not supposed to be doing that in real life. He had 30, 10, and 9 at 44 years old. And people are wondering if he should be in the All-Star game. Of course he should be in the All-Star game. He did have a couple games there at the beginning of the year where it looked like he might have lost it. He may not have his lift anymore. Like, right, he was looking like getting old man buckets, like a little Roosevelt Jones action down there in the paint. But he's clearly got it back. He's posterizing people. He's having dunks like most nights. He'll have his retirement tour. It won't be this year, but he'll have a full-on retirement tour, I still predict. In terms of sports yesterday, I'm just trying to think of any other results that happened. Back to tennis, because this is a tennis podcast for the next 2 weeks. Last thing we're going to talk about today. Tommy Paul versus Riley Opelka. I know every USTA junior who grew up in that time frame felt a little nostalgia watching that match, just knowing that had happened at clay courts growing up, knowing that match happened like every day in practice at USTA. Those were 2 of the guys for our age group coming out. I mean, Tiafo also, of course, but Fritz wasn't quite as highly regarded when they were young. I mean, when I was probably 12 or so, Opelka and Tommy were like the 2 and Kozlov, man, Koz was so sick. But anyways, they played yesterday. That was sick to see. Tommy had his number. He kind of had a good read on where he was going to serve on big points and stuff like that. I don't think Riley was really ever able to get a break point, maybe 1 or 2, but it was all TP in that. He rolled 3 and 4. Plays Vukic tonight. Would look for TP to be rolling again in that one. Vukic, former University of Illinois player from Australia, gonna like the conditions, gonna have a home crowd on his side. I think they're playing in New Zealand. They're in Adelaide. They're in Australia. He'll have the home crowd on his team, on his side. But I mean, TP's too much, man. He's really one of the best players in the world. He's kind of right there behind Alcaraz, behind center, but ahead of the next crop of guys, in my opinion. If there's an American that's going to win a Grand Slam, it could be TP, man. He doesn't really have the holes. He doesn't have the weapons of a Shelton, but his movement's unbelievable. He's serving and volleying think his forehand volley, low forehand volley, he came up with like an unreal crisp one yesterday on a nuke of a Opelka passing shot. I'd like to ask Tommy on that volley, is he going a little more Eastern grip? Because it seems like the racket face isn't as open. I think with the spin on the balls, with the new strings and stuff, the racket face is that open, it's probably going to fly. I wonder if on the low forehand volley, he's going a little more of a closed racket face and trusting the strings to kind of do a little bit more of the work for him. Tommy, if you see this, let me know. Anyways, that's all I've got for us. Arsenal plays today, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Don't miss out. EFL Cup playing Chelsea. Get on your gear, wear your red. Max Dowman, he's about to hoop. He's about to go. Just kidding. He's still hurt. He's not even going to play. But Arsenal, big game against Chelsea. Let's go Gunners. Let's go Gunners. Let's go Arsenal. Peace, guys. Thanks for listening. See ya.